Coming up, attractions that could go and attractions that could stay at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Welcome to the SeeWDW Near and Far podcast, where we explore perspectives of the Walt Disney World Resort from 10 to 1,000 miles away. I am Mike, the far in this equation.
And I'm John, the near.
All right, John, here we go for another week. How did your week in the parks go?
Let's see. I should be better prepared for this stuff. I went to the parks twice this week. And let me see. We did our podcast last Saturday, so it looks like Sunday I went to Magic Kingdom. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like I actually had a pass to go there too, so I didn't have to go to Epcot first. So I made the reservation. And let's see. I went there in the afternoon. I had to buy my wife the new Main Street Electrical Parade Loungefly backpack. So I did that, and why do I feel like I'm on the wrong one? Because I feel like I did this one already. I see Mickey's Celebration Cavalcade.
Yeah, I see that too, but you didn't on the last one. I know why, because we talked about it last week. Was it last week or the week before that you went? No, it was last week that you had seen the what was the hoedown. Remember that then, and you had some footage from some of the cavalcades. But,
yeah, this is definitely from this.
Yeah.
Week. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
I was just making sure that I wasn't going to the wrong day. But anyway, I was there by myself, so I decided I really wanted to ride Space Mountain, and it had said, I think, like 35-minute wait, and then by the time I walked over to it, it said 45-minute wait. And I've been just picking rides lately and saying, I'm just gonna wait for them, because otherwise I won't be able to ride anything anymore. So I got in line. I got some good pictures. It was a fun ride, but I'm trying to look and see. I timed it. It ended up taking 28 minutes for me to get on the ride. So if you remember, last couple of weeks, it's been taking longer than they say. But in this case, though, when I got to the part where they tell you to go left or right for Space Mountain, left is a much longer line. For whatever reason, I got lucky and they told me to go. Or right was a much longer. Well, depending on how you're looking at it. But anyway, they told me to go to the shorter line that included most of the Lightning Lane people. So that's because Lightning Lane, there was nobody coming for a little while. So they started to take the standby queue and put them in both at the end. So I feel like that probably shaved off a good 10 minutes or so of additional waiting, which would have been right on. But it's nice when you get lucky.
Yeah, right.
And then I went over and rode Tomorrowland Transit Authority just because, and that line has actually been pretty short lately. Like I think it was less than 10 minutes it took me to ride it. And, they still run it strangely, where they stop people from going up the stairs, and then there's multiple empty cars running, and then they let people up. And I'm sure there's a reason for that, but if they didn't do that, I don't think there'd be much of a wait ever on that ride. But like I said, I'm sure there's some reason they do that, other than to make people wait longer. But I would be curious to know. And what else did I do? Oh, then I looked on my app as I was walking through Fantasyland, and it said Haunted Mansion 13 minutes, and I'm like, what in the heck is that? Did it just reopen or something? Like maybe it was closed and just reopened. So I walked as fast as I could there, and by the time I went under the little sign, it was at 25 minutes when I walked towards it. Just as I went under, it went to 45 minutes, and I'm like, oh man. But anyway, I'm that far. I decided, I'm going on Haunted Mansion. I haven't ridden it in a while. And so I got in line for that and waited, and I know I've been taking screenshots of my times and putting them in here. I believe, there it is. 11 minutes and 45 seconds is all it took me to get into the stretching room.
No kidding. So that time was greatly overstated then, 45 minutes, because if it says 45 minutes and you were in front of that sign, it's supposed to be 45 minutes from there. 11 minutes? Wow.
It literally changed right as I went under. And like I said, I'm telling you these things because I don't like telling people stuff one-sided, and I have been telling you that it's even longer. And again, I think some of the spring break crowd has left or something, but my latest on can you depend on these times is you can't depend on them at all. Like literally, they might be more, they might be less, they might be a lot more, and they might be a lot less. So it's a crapshoot right now.
Well, remember what they used to do? They used to give you like every once in a while a random person in the line. They would give them a tag, right? And and then you'd hand it to someone at the end, and that's how they determine the queue length. And they don't do that anymore, do they? I mean, I haven't seen them do it in a long time.
I honestly don't know how they do it at this point. I know at Universal, and this is a little bit outdated too, but the whatever lead was on that day uses their eyes and their experience to set the wait times, you know what I mean? Wow, and then they basically test it out, but it's just done by people knowing, the time of year, the time of day, the ride, the queue, how it works. So, but again, I don't know how they do it now, but Disney did used to do that. And again, I don't really see how they're doing it. I know they track a lot of people. Maybe they just know. I
don't know. Maybe they have like a, data on the magic bands or something. But not everyone has magic bands, so I'm not really sure
they see some people, but again, I don't know if they know that you just walked in and how long you've been waiting, but I don't think it's that though either. If it was that, it would actually be accurate. So, and it doesn't seem to be lately.
Well, that's what gets me is that during the pandemic, you know, and all that whole era, and some people you can debate whether we're in it still or not, but I mean, and the era where they just emerged from shutdown up until now, let's face it, they weren't really being that vigilant on looking at that stuff. I think, I mean, the times were all over the map, and as of right now, I think they've been accurate a lot. Like the last 2 times I've been to the park, actually the times were pretty close to what it actually took. And it's just interesting. 45 minutes and an actual 11 minutes is so, like, for that particular attraction is so bad as far as, like, as far as accuracy goes.
Maybe they knew there was a lot of lightning lane coming.
That could be.
So they were doing that too and just didn't
It's a good point. Good point. That could be it. I mean, maybe that was based on that. So
all I know is it's getting hard to judge any of this stuff anymore. Like I said, when we got in line for Splash Mountain a couple weeks ago, I remember thinking, I know 75 minutes is a lot, but it's probably going to be less than an hour by the time all's said and done, because they tend to exaggerate it. And it was longer than that, and it made me think if I would have known it was even longer than what it said, guaranteed, I probably would have, I don't know that I would have gotten in line. I might have said, let's just do something else. So it is disappointing and confusing and hard to read. It's like, I just wish I knew how long it was going to take, but we still don't yet.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But anyway, it was, I was happy to ride 3 rides. Like I said, 28 minutes for Space Mountain, 11 for Haunted Mansion, and less than 10 for Tomorrowland Transit Authority. I mean, those 3 rides for me in one visit is a complete success. and I was quite happy with all the wait times. I was happy with all of them, how it worked out. And again, I wanted to mention that because when it doesn't work out well and the wait times are frustrating or, too tedious and kind of make you feel like you wasted your time going, I sure as heck mentioned that. I'll mention this time that was not the case. It was nice.
That's good news. Good. That's great. So after you got out of the Haunted Mansion, it looked like you went to the Emporium quick, made a quick stop in there, and there's a picture of a Mickey that you have there. What is that? Do you know what I'm talking about? What is that Mickey?
I do, and that's why I took the picture, because I don't know what that is either.
That's what I'm looking at. It sort of looks like, I don't understand. I can't even tell you. I don't even know what that is. It looks like a Mickey with wearing like almost like a Mardi Gras outfit or something, but then he has like a furry type hood over top and like yellow gold
to me, it
ears.
Looks like
what is
Mickey
that?
Dressed up in some type of foreign outfit, like from like the where it's cold, like Russia or something. Like it just seems like a weird outfit, and it's all gold and black. And again, I don't know what it is. I should have looked closer. Unfortunately, I really didn't. I was just kind of walking through, and it's always so crowded in there. I was just like, what in the heck? And I snapped a picture walking by. But yeah, if anybody knows what that is, you could let me know.
Yeah, it's strange. It's just strange looking. I don't know. Like, it doesn't look like it fits anything going on. And, I'm sure there's a story behind it. I'm sure there's some theme that would make sense. But the jacket kind of looks like a Mardi Gras jacket in a way. And I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't that Universal's thing? So I was looking at it and it's just a Mickey with and he's got like I said, like a fur hood, like a fur lined hood or something, and his ears are gold coming out of the hood. I don't know. It's very strange. I'm not sure what that is, but I looked at it and that's you got a great eye, because that would have attracted me too. Like I would have seen that and been like, what the heck is this? It's like one of these things is not like the other, So I don't know. Hopefully somebody knows what's going on there. I sure as heck don't.
Okay. And then from there, I did leave. I would have stayed longer, but I forget what I had to do. I had something. Oh, people were coming to visit that night at my house, and I didn't have to be there exactly when they got back, but I didn't want to be gone the whole time either. So I started heading back, and I used the walkway, which nothing real new there. I love the walkway, and I did stop at the Grand Floridian though, just to look around a little bit. And one thing that I noticed that, and again, I'm sure most people know it's there, but when you first walk into the main entry there, and if you look down, there's like a design in the tile floor.
Yeah.
I never noticed. There's Mickey, there's Minnie, there's Goofy, there's Pluto.
Yeah, they're all
like
there.
all in there, and I don't know why. I just never noticed that.
I did. Like I noticed when I went in there, the first time I stepped in there, which honestly, as many years as I've been going there, to the resorts, that I only just went probably right before the pandemic. I went to the Grand Floridian for the first time to go eat dinner there one time, or I think maybe it was breakfast at the character breakfast thing there, and took the kids there. And I don't know if it was on that trip or the last trip that we took that I went to the Grand Floridian. I've been there twice now, and that's it. Like it's nice. It's just like, I'm not a big Grand Floridian. Like it's not really my taste, so to speak. You know what I mean? But I did notice that when I walked in. That's why I've only been there a couple times, because I'm kind of like, it's not really. I've never been like a huge fan of that stuff. But when I walked in and saw that mural on the ground, or that painting, like you said, that tile work or whatever it is, I was like, wow, that is pretty cool. And I noticed that when I was going through your pictures, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about them.
Yeah, and sorry for the background noise. For the first time since I moved, they're cutting the grass at my neighbor's house on a Saturday.
No, that's right.
It's always on a Friday night so far. And again, they have somebody cut their grass. And I was going to say, on the positive side, it's just like the Diz Unplugged. Pete always says, my neighbor, every time I do a podcast, they get the lawnmower out and start going. So, hey, maybe that's a good sign. Good things to come, right?
I actually thought that myself, too, when you said that. I was like, yeah, I'm just like Pete.
Yeah. I always remember he'd bring that up. He'd be like, every time we do a podcast, the neighbor mows the lawn right outside the window. So
it's all right.
I'm sure it won't be too much longer. But I was going to say that from there, I went to the Polynesian and I grabbed a quick bite to eat. And so it's not really a food review, but I might as well tell you what I thought of it because I tried something different. But I need to look up the menu because if I get it wrong, people aren't real forgiving of incorrect information.
I will say, like, I've always loved the Polynesians. Stayed there when I was a kid with my parents. It was like our last trip when I was a kid. And, at that time, there was only two. There was only the Polynesian and the Contemporary. That was the only property hotels, and we stayed there with family. It was what a great place. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. And although I can tell you, it was better with the waterfall in the center. The whole lobby smelled like the Pirates ride, kind of, with the Disney water smell and all that. So I like that better, but as hard as they try, they still didn't ruin it. Yes, still enjoy. Like I said, they're trying.
Yeah, on our last trip, we went there to eat. We're going to Ohana this time. So.
All right. So at Captain Cook's, I was by myself. I just wanted to get something to eat, so I wasn't real hungry. So I got the Asian style noodle salad.
Oh yeah, that's actually, people like that.
You can see how I could mess that up though. So I just
that.
So anyway, it's rice noodle, mandarin oranges, mixed vegetables, and candied cashews served with honey miso dressing. And I got the chicken added to it. So it came to like $11.29. And I have to tell you, I wasn't expecting the chicken to be like it was. It was the cold chicken in little cube form.
Oh, okay.
So It was good though. Like, it tasted good, but I feel like it's like the kind that you'd buy like at the grocery store where they're like, here's some chopped up chicken you can add to a salad, Like, it didn't seem like it was freshly prepared in any way. It was just cold stuff sitting around. But I liked it. It was good. I probably wouldn't get it again. There was not a lot of flavor to it. The mixed vegetables, I think there was like sliced cucumber or zucchini or something. That was like the only vegetables on it. So it was mostly noodles, oranges, chicken. Like, there was not very little vegetables, and it didn't look like the picture, And the chicken was, cubes, but they gave you a lot of chicken though for $2. So I was glad I got it. It definitely, if you're going to get something like that, I definitely recommending adding it because, again, it was the most filling part of the meat. The chicken. It's only $2 extra to add it. But when I go back, I will probably, although I'm seeing a lot of nice-looking burgers there, but I will probably go back to the Aloha pork sandwich, which is what I usually get, and that is just really good. Although now I'm seeing Pan-Asian noodles and vegetables. Man, why didn't I? Oh, I didn't get that because I don't like the baby corn, and I think I saw picked baby corn in there. I don't know why. I just don't care for the flavor.
I understand. I'm not a big fan of it either.
Although they also have Thai coconut meatballs. That sounds risky for there too, but I'm always looking to try something new at Captain Cook's because I eat there so often. But yeah, I might have to give that a try sometime. But anyway, my favorite thing on the menu as of now is Aloha pork sandwich. I probably won't get the Asian style noodle salad again. Although if I were on vacation, I probably would because it was filling and it didn't make me tired. Like it wasn't heavy food or greasy food or anything like that. So it wasn't that bad.
Oh, that's cool. Gave you a little bit of a boost anyhow.
Yeah, so we get a little bit of a food review there. So that was about it for the Polynesian. And then on Tuesday, we decided to go to Animal Kingdom because I haven't ridden the Expedition Everest yet since it reopened, and it's one of my favorite rides there. So we decided to head over there and. Let's see. And this one, my wife and daughter went with us, and we went to Dinosaur.
Hold on, before you get to Dinosaur, could you back up just a minute? What is this band on a stage playing? What's that? What's going on there?
That's the stage just past the Discovery Island Mercantile on the way to Dinosaur. Yeah. And it's near the nice bathrooms over there too. It's right near the entrance to Dino Land. I don't know who they are, but this stage seems to change a lot. So this is a newer one, and these guys were. It was loud, and it's not really my thing. Like I don't really like loud music in the parks. A lot of people seem to like it.
I don't know. I didn't even know anyone was. Playing that stage at this point. It's interesting,
Oh no, they
it's like
always
reggae music stage or something, right?
The guy that I posted like a month or two ago used to be there with another guy. The guy that played the guitar or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think he was there with somebody else that was singing, and it was a whole thing. And so they use that stage a lot, and it changes who's there. I didn't see any signs up for the name of the people currently there, but yeah.
All right, so they have had some live entertainment there anyhow.
Oh yeah.
I mean that's good. That keeps some good entertainers and jobs, and
As a side note, that seems to be all the Disney news you can handle is seems to be the only thing that they ever say anymore is bringing back, and I think we mentioned that before. It's getting to be quite tedious as a news item. That what else are you bringing back? Then bringing back. Like
it's amazing how much
new.
But it is amazing how much they scaled back. They used the last few years to scale so much back and get rid of so much entertainment, and now they're bringing them back after fans were kind of, I don't know if they were demanding necessarily a lot of this stuff to come back, but
with the crowds, you need extra stuff to distract them. Otherwise, it's overwhelming for Disney to handle.
That's what I was going to say. I think they'll say it's because of the fans and stuff, but the reality is they've kind of got a crowd crisis on their hands. So, okay. Anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
and we weren't even going to talk about it, but maybe we should mention, as a little side note here, that speaking of bringing back, they released a thing the other day about their revised plans for what they're going to do at Epcot.
Yeah, that's a good idea. This is a good opportunity to talk about that. Yeah.
I know I've said many times, I don't really care what Disney announces, because until they do something, they will make any and all changes imaginable for whatever reason they want. Like when they said, "Oh, Mary Poppins," and everybody clapped. I didn't clap because I remembered just from a year or two before the full-size theater on Main Street, USA. They all clapped for that too. We're not getting that. It's like, so I don't really believe any of it, and so I kind of just wait. I'll clap when I see it, I guess, But and on that note, they revised all the plans again, and I saw and what reminded me of it is I heard them say all the fans loved the light up sidewalks. We're bringing it back. Everybody loved Communicore. We're bringing it back. And I'm like, why'd you tear all these buildings down? You're just bringing stuff back. And I know it's going to be better and all, but I'm just that really reminded me of the bringing it back thing, bringing it back. And it's like, I want all that stuff brought back, but it's overall, like I said, the overall feel of the changes and stuff. The only thing that I liked in the original change was that festival center that looked like it was pulled right out of the concept art from Walt Disney's version of Epcot, like the center city part where all the people would shop and dine and all that. And that's gone now too. It's I think it's like garden or something. They put some trees there. They took the Fountain of Nations and they were going to make it this little fountain instead. And now it's gardens. They put some plants. And lucky for me, I love plants and gardens, so I'll probably really enjoy it, and I do look forward to it. So, but I don't know how many kids would care or appreciate that kind of thing. But I know that it looks like there's going to be a lot of stuff for me to look at, so I am excited about that. Yeah. I just wanted to mention though they're bringing stuff back.
Yeah, and I think it's really I guess it's kind of the final nail in the coffin of any concept of thinking that Epcot's ever going to be for kids. I mean, honestly, the beer garden is one thing that definitely didn't go away. We know that. They're going to put it in there, and it's going to be literally a garden where they serve beer is what it seems like. And that's their opportunity to monetize that whole part of the concept. And, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not criticizing them for doing that. But I guess the part that I'm kind of looking forward to is for lawn and garden, or whatever they call it. What is it? The lawn and garden. When I say lawn and garden, I'm thinking Lowe's or something. What do they call it? The flower and garden festival, lawn and garden. Gosh, I got Lowe's in my head, I think. Flower and garden festival. That just gives them more area, to kind of beautify and take advantage of. So that's going to be kind of nice. But again, for a park that maybe lacks some attractions and some cohesive elements in the front there now, I don't know. I think they kind of dropped the ball on that in some ways. Even if you weren't going to put that festival building in there. Okay, I get it. It's going to be a big, expensive festival building, but why not just put a big fountain in there like you used to have, It doesn't have to be that wide open space. You can still put your garden spaces in there, your green spaces and all that, which look beautiful, but you could put like a big fountain there. Maybe it's because of the Moana splash pad nearby. I don't know, but...
Well, I actually heard that the Moana water project is an old project that Imagineering has been wanting to do forever. Mm-hmm. They weren't allowed to do it, and then they added Moana in, and Disney said approved, and now they're letting it go. So that kind of gives me a little hope that it may be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's not from the new Imagineers. They did not make this up. They just added Moana to an idea that was created by people at a time when they did things better, in my opinion, when I appreciated what they did more than I appreciate it now. So I'm hoping that actually pans out, and it's like, wow, this is like a classic Epcot feel. But Moana's jammed in, but still, it's a classic Epcot feel,
Right. Well, when I do hear that they're naming the one building Communicore, and they're actually putting some old elements, it's like a Communicore light, so to speak, in that one building.
In memory of Communicore.
Yeah.
Here's where it's buried and killed. You can come here and cry about it.
Yeah, I mean, but with that said, even that may give us a little bit of a nostalgic feel going there. So I don't think it's all bad. I get what you're saying about the festival center, but for me, when I thought about that festival center, I kind of rolled my eyes as it's another opportunity to have a cupcake or a wine thing or something on top of the, I would have loved to see green space that they were going to put on top of that building, but another part of me thought, you know what, they're going to obstruct the view of Spaceship Earth, and if they do that, I think so.
Yeah.
I sort of I'm mixed on that. Like I said, I would have liked to see it just to see what it looked like, but another part of me is like, man, they've already kind of hurt the views across the lake. Although that's something else interesting that, what's your take on that? Because in that concept art, the great big tacos and spaceships aren't in the lagoon. They're missing from the lake. So
I
don't
look
think
at
they're
it that close, but
yeah,
I'm sure
there.
they just don't include that because it's so ugly that why put it in that to mess it up.
Maybe they're going to move those over to Animal Kingdom to replace Kite Tails, since I heard they're going to discontinue Kite Tails now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that brings us back to Disney. I actually saw Kite Tails when we were
To
at
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can go back to Animal Kingdom.
Unless you want to talk about the Epcot expansion more, I mean, we could probably do a whole show on that at some point. But
yeah,
I just wanted to mention my initial thoughts on it, and
I agree.
And I do think too that basically it's been in shambles since 2017, 18, like a long time. And at this point, anything is going to feel good, It's going to be, wow, something is here instead of just rubble. So I think that's to Disney's advantage, but only short term now, because so far what I'm seeing, like the Connections Cafe and the Creation Shop, I don't feel, that does not give me the Epcot feel. That does not seem like a long-term thing. I've heard other people describe it as upscale Los Angeles designing of that's what you see when you go to upscale stores and restaurants in Los Angeles right now. And it's probably the same people that did it and that designed that. So again, doesn't feel like Epcot. It's not. I can't imagine even 5 years from now it's going to look horribly aged from my perspective. But again, we'll see. But the rest of it, though, there seems to be some cool stuff coming. Mm-hmm. But again, it's all in the theme of cutbacks. So cutback. And if Disney's if it turns out their subscribers for Disney Plus are down and their movies are down or whatever else, well, they tend to turn around and look at the theme park and say, give me some more money, up the prices, cut everything, lower portions, lower quality. And that's just what they've always done. And then when things are going good for them, they still don't give anything back to us. So it's usually a one-way thing out of the theme parks. They get the worst of it.
Yeah, and you've been very consistent in your take, and I guess that's the theme to how we both kind of feel is that they're adding something they're not taking away at this point from Epcot. Even putting putting a planner in the dark hole of the dark pit that is currently the middle of Epcot, of formerly known as Future World, is something. It's an addition, right? So, I mean, honestly, the plans that they have and looking at those plans, I'm not discouraged necessarily. I think, hey, it gives me a reason to come back and check it out. So, and I'm sure that's what the purpose is. So, at least they're not leaving construction walls up, right? I mean, they're gonna. So we can say that. All right, maybe we go back to.
Well, I guess I might as well mention it though too. I saw that the media people were all at the Guardians.
Yeah.
And they all said they loved it and it's the greatest ride. So it probably is. You know how they are. So I'm still not 100% sure, but it's probably pretty good. I can't imagine that they've been working on that since 2017. That's 5 to 6 years, depending on the exact dates. It's got to be good, literally. And the Guardians is such a great franchise. I fully think it's going to be great. But I will tell you for sure next week, because this Tuesday I'll be riding it. So I just wanted to mention.
So I was going to say, you're like, 3 days away from...
And Disney did not give me any package of stuff. I saw other people, they literally paid to fly them in, put them at a hotel, transport them from the airport, free food, ride it all you want, and then they also gave him a big pile of gifts. Like the one guy was saying, "Oh, I need to add another carry-on. I got so much free stuff." You know, I'm like, wow, that's Disney sure is generous. Yeah, like generous to a fault. Like, holy moly, I didn't. When I used to stand in with stuff, I never got any of that kind of treatment. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think they need to with this ride. I anticipate it'll be pretty darn good. But you can guarantee you'll get an honest review.
Yeah, and you know, the thing that I'm most excited about, and by the way, it was not part of DAS Pass, just for people that are trying to maybe get on it with the DAS and stuff. It's not part of the disability pass. You can't schedule it, pre-schedule it. You can't. It's not going to be on your DAS thing when you enter the park. So just a heads up, if you're going to ride that the weekend it opens, which incidentally you may see me there that weekend, you need to do a virtual queue. That's what they're doing. There is no standby for that ride. It will only be virtual queue. So keep in mind that if you're a Disney Resort guest, you will get preferable treatment, from what I understand, in that queue line. I've never had a problem getting a virtual queue for any ride that I've tried, but this is going to be the first weekend that I'm going to be there, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to ride it. I'm going to try.
Well, that's what I told my wife, that we better enjoy it on the preview, because this is going to be like Rise of the Resistance in that, at exactly 7 o'clock, it's going to be, and they're gone. Oh, too bad for you. And I'd be like, well, that's impossible. Well, too bad. It's gone. And I have a feeling that based on the way things have been going, Disney's not going to care one way or the other if these pass holders are clogging up their line. They're not fans anyway. And so if I can't get it, I would say that's about the furthest thing from Disney's concern as to whether or not, us freeloading pass holding get a ride on it or not.
And I'm a pass holder, and if I honestly, I'd get the same treatment if I wasn't staying on property, I think. And I gotta say, it is going to be they'll have the paper ride, available, but even that will be gone within like seconds, probably. So.
Yeah, and that's why they have to do that too, because from a monetary viewpoint, they can adjust the amount of virtual fast passes greatly. Like, they can make it super small and have 90% of the capacity go to paying if they have that demand. And so the amount of money that they could squeeze out of a new indoor roller coaster theme to an awesome Marvel franchise, I'd be curious to see how that works. And again, I don't like it, but I also, from a monetary standpoint, I can see exactly why they're doing it. That makes great sense, because I'm buying my pass one way or the other. Who cares about me? But I mean, long term, Disney has been damaging their goodwill with many, many people.
Sure.
But short term, this could be great for money, and I think they need money right now. So
yeah, I agree.
Help them.
Yeah. All right, so back to Animal Kingdom, Kite Tails, right?
Well, actually, the first thing I did was go to Dinosaur, and I don't even remember what the sign said. I think it said like 20 minutes, but it was probably more like 10 minutes. It was pretty much a walk-on, but Dinosaur is my daughter's favorite, and we all love it, enjoy riding it pretty much every time we go to Animal Kingdom. I can tell you that awful lot of the dinosaur animatronics are not working properly, including the last one, the one that comes down and it didn't move at all. It's like they are not doing the maintenance on this thing, and it's really showing through and kind of sad. It's like it's our favorite ride, and I remember this is probably more than a couple of years ago now. This is before the shutdown and stuff. I remember I went on Dinosaur one day, And we would go on it quite often, even more so back then. And I remember it worked perfectly. The lighting was perfect. The ride was smooth. Every dinosaur was working. And I think I probably mentioned on the podcast, they've been doing nighttime maintenance because this thing wasn't shut down. And it is running great. And I was so impressed. I was like, that's how they used to do it. And Animal Kingdom has so few rides. They can't just close things for a refurb all the time to do general maintenance. So they literally just did it. That thing is really in poor shape. And I also noticed, too, the ride gets rougher and rougher because it goes through ups and downs with that. Right now, it is throwing you around in that car, just, slamming you all over the place. And the lighting gets to be off. The animatronics stopped working. And so, yeah, that's very disappointing for one of my favorite rides in all of Disney World. I really love that ride. And sad that it's doing that. And it makes me wonder, it's probably just maintenance cuts because Disney. Hopefully it's that and not that they're planning on getting rid of it or anything. I don't think they would. But,
no, there's too much wrapped up in there. I can't imagine them getting rid of that. I mean, you can't afford to lose another attraction at that park,
Well, yeah, the whatever it is, the Primeval Whirl roller coaster spot. I walked by that then and I looked and I'm like, wow, look at that nice empty space. That's awesome. Yeah. Perfect. That's much better than a ride. Yeah. I didn't love that coaster, but if the line wasn't long, I would because of it. Yeah. But yeah, the empty space there is pretty nice too, I guess.
It's a dinosaur, prehistoric themed, end of the dinosaur era themed Wild Mouse. I mean, it was kind of neat in that way. A little uncomfortable for most people, but that's a wild mouse,
Well, we went next to Kite Tails because we knew that it started, I forget what time, 5:15 or something. So we hurried from Dinosaur to there, and it was already started. So we were running a little bit trying to get there. My daughter didn't want to miss Kite Tails. And it turns out this was the one she didn't see. She saw the Jungle Book version, and now this was the Lion King. And it was just as great as it is every time I see it. Yeah. I won't say what level of greatness.
I find it a shame because they are talking about getting rid of the performers and just doing the kites and just having it go around the lagoon so that you can kind of see it anywhere around the lagoon. And that's what Disney officially said in their retooling of the show. And I thought to myself, so you're basically getting rid of the show. You're giving no one a reason to sit in that amphitheater. That's why you put a show there to begin with.
Well, that announcement came after I went, but I remember saying when I was there, I was in the seats and, it was probably, this was like 5 something. So it was still in the 80s. We were all sweating. There's no shade at all in that theater. And I remember thinking, I literally said to my wife and daughter, this isn't going to work in the summertime. Like people can't sit in the direct sun at Animal Kingdom. Like people are going to be falling over and it's that bad. So then like the next day I heard that announcement. Like, I'm not surprised based on that alone. Plus the theater is barely anybody there to watch it. And like you said, you can fire a huge portion of the staff. All those people who go out with sticks and all this and that, they're all gone. So all you need is the boat guys. It's like, that greatly reduces the cost of it. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I can't say I disagree with it. It's not drawing the people. It really isn't. I think it's fun, but that theater is just awful too. I can't believe they ever designed a theater to be so uncomfortable and out in the open and just not. I remember I couldn't stand to watch Rivers of Light there. It's just so uncomfortable. Just not a good theater overall.
Yeah, I mean that space might be okay for a short nighttime show, but I don't know what you do there, you know? I mean, you can't do fireworks. You have to be careful with like laser lights and stuff. You don't want to startle the animals, which are really close nearby, and so it's kind of difficult. I mean, I almost think like kite tails might work a little bit better at night if you have a spotlight on the kites, and then right before they crash you like take it off, I don't know, but
yeah, my daughter is still laughing at she had to make sure she watched this, Simba crashes into the stands thing. It's done.
I like that though. I think that's
that's the highlight.
Yeah, so
anyway, we went on Dinosaur, we saw kite tails. Then we went to Expedition Everest because this is the first time I rode it since it reopened. And it said 20-minute standby, and I don't have a timer up because it was so short that it really didn't affect anything. It was that fast. So, it ended up probably being less than 10 minutes. And, it was fine. There was a very long delay at the part where the Yeti is the shadow feature where he's breaking the track.
Yeah.
And it literally just stopped for like 30 seconds at that point. And, everybody's like, wow, that's always scary because that's the part where the track in front of you is flipping over to line up so you can go down the biggest hill on the whole ride. So
yeah,
it's like, oh, there's a problem with the track flipping over down the biggest hill. Awesome. It's like, I don't know. That always makes you think.
Yeah, that's happened to me there before too. It's the same exact situation, and I think that to myself too. I mean, part of me is like, "Oh, this is cool. I get to see this. I get to kind of hang out here." But then the other part, you think, "Uh-oh."
I was gonna say I deleted it from my phone, but I'm sure you can still see. It wasn't a good ride for pictures either because I looked up and down the whole coaster, and the tallest guy on the whole train was right in front of me.
Yeah.
So all my pictures and video include a very tall guy's bald spot, his hand sticking up, and I'm like, I told my wife, I'm like, well, that was all useless because nobody wants to see bald guys in Instagram videos. They just don't. And I am practically bald or balding or whatever too. Like I'm not bald, but I'm sure my head looks similar to that too in the back at this point in life. So anyway, I was like, and then my wife and daughter were like, didn't you see the eagle or bird was working? And I was like, I didn't because I was looking sideways because I had the tallest guy on the whole darn train in front of me with his hands up. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I wasn't mad at him at all. It was just unfortunate timing for me in videoing. He had a good time on the ride. I'm glad he did. So don't take that as I'm resentful or angry that people ride. It's just unfortunate that when I looked around, I had the worst seat on the entire ride for filming. And I film constantly, and I'm probably the only one on the ride filming. And I'm like, wow, what are the chances? The only guy videotaping anything. And the only guy in the spot where you can't videotape things. Again, I was upset with the circumstance and coincidence of it, not the fact that a guy enjoyed his ride and happens to be tall. But if we go on anything, I don't want you in front of me either.
I get it. I understand.
You definitely block my view.
I would, with my bald head, I would blind your camera.
No, but I put up some. Some really nice footage of enchantment already, and you wouldn't hear the people angry because there was a bald guy like in front of me to the left that you could really keep seeing his head, and they're like, that's great, you got a video of some bald guy's head. Like people were really mad that the bald guy's head was visible throughout, and I'm like, God damn it, I didn't. So ever since then, I'm like, man, when I see bald guy head getting in my shots, darn, no one's gonna watch this. I can't even use it.
Right.
Anyway, from there we went to surprise, Satui Canteen, because we love the salads. They're always a little bit different, and today they were a little bit, or not today, that day they were a little bit different too. Like the chicken was cut more in like cube type style, where it used to be more pulled, you know. And again, and the makeup of the salad changes too. Like whenever you go, it might be different. I think it depends on the chefs doing it, what's available to put in it, but it literally does change. Luckily, it's still great though. It was just awesome. I absolutely loved it, as always.
The chicken literally looks like it came out of one of those like store-bought bags of grilled chicken or something, you know. I mean, this time, so it does look like a little different. Like,
it does, but they do cook the chicken right there. They cook it in as you're walking in the restaurant. Although, you know, it was late in the day, so maybe they ran out of chicken and just made the other. But no, it still tasted good, so it's definitely not that. It's, I don't know, maybe they just have a new protocol for cutting chicken there or something. Or they bought a new chicken cutting machine and fired all the people who cut chicken before.
That's probably more
this
likely. Machine
will cut in cubes and take the place of 10 cast members. Awesome. Another bonus for the executives at Disney. Good job. But anyway, my wife actually got something this time too. She didn't at first, but once we picked up our food, she's like, "Oh, I should have got a hot dog or something." Like she thinks all the food there's too weird. She doesn't like it, even though it's good. She's like, she doesn't want it, and I'm like, whatever. I just eat it anyway. You know, like I can't use that. But my wife my wife got the kids meal, the hot dog kids meal, which is very unusual for her. She probably eats a hot dog, you know, you could probably count it on one hand the amount of hot dogs I've ever seen her purchase and eat since I've been with her for 20-some years, you know. So she got that. She said that the roll was great. It's like almost like a croissant that's baked around the hot dog. She really liked she didn't say much about the hot dog, but she did say that roll, the bun they have it in is just fantastic. So, and again, a kid's meal is always nice. Just remember, anyone can order a kid's meal, and a hot dog and some chips with a mandarin orange and a drink for like $7.99. That's not bad. At Disney, even an adult will be filled if you eat all that, you know. You won't be stuffed, and you might, you know, you'll have room for a snack later, but it's not bad, you know. It's a fill-in, and if we ever do a show about saving money at Disney, I do recommend kids meals, and then you can buy a snack later. Chances are you're going to buy it anyway, so why not be a little bit hungry when you buy it, you know? It'd save you some money and save you some calories too. Why not? Always makes me feel better. But anyway, so there's my regular girl review of the kids meal hot dog for an adult. You're not going to get that on the other podcast.
No, that's no. But my wife, if we went there, that's probably similar to what she would get. Although what we did last time when I went to Satoli is she went to what's the barbecue place? I always forget what that barbecue place is called.
Yeah, Flame Tree.
Flame Tree. She went to Flame Tree. She just loves Flame Tree. So
that is good. I can't. And my favorite thing about Flame Tree though is the seating area.
Yeah.
You can just go back and like you said in past episodes, watch Everest from back there, and it doesn't even feel like you're in the park when you go back there. So just a great spot, you know.
It is.
Hey, there's another podcast idea. Great spots to eat lunch or just sit somewhere where you feel out of the way.
Well,
I don't think I've ever
away.
heard one of those. Yeah.
No, I think I think Animal Kingdom has some of the best out of all the parks, to be honest.
Yeah, how to get away without getting away.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We'll have to file that one away. Future idea.
So from there, you know, we went in the shops a little bit, and my wife got a new outfit in there, some kind of, I don't know what it is exactly, just Animal Kingdom Disney-ish outfit. And we looked at the merch. Nothing really stood out to me too much. I do like that there's a great big beautiful Tomorrow desk sign. That's kind of a nice.
Yeah, I saw that.
if I worked in an office where I actually went in, that's the kind of thing I would like to. It's always makes you feel a little better, you know, to have an inspirational sign there. So, oh, and they have new Leia and Han shirts, you know, the I love you and I know, but they almost look like animated or Lego type animation type outlines. And I do think it's funny. They killed off all the original Star Wars characters, but they still are trying to squeeze money out of it.
Yeah, right.
Like Han Solo, it's like, we killed him immediately in the first one. Man, we're still getting some money out of it. Weird, but... So anyway, from there, we left. I did want to mention, and you won't see this in your thing, some friends of mine sent me pictures of Wally at the Magic Kingdom.
Huh.
And, you know, I put it up in my story, but not my post, because it's from the cast member event they had on Saturday night for cast members who were there more than 10 years. They closed the Magic Kingdom at 4:30. And he had sent me a couple of videos of Wally interacting with people around the park. And
oh my goodness.
It's sad that they don't bring him out.
Why don't they?
Well, yeah,
I love Wally.
I'm going to text it to you just for fun. But my thought is, they can't send it to you. My thought is they can't do it because it seems like it would be kind of a sensitive animatronic. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
I feel like he's kind of breakable and that kids are going to grab him or hug him, or pinchable, meaning if they stick their hand in something and it moves, they're going to get pinched. Like, I feel like they'd really have to keep the kids away from him because of the details. So I feel like they bring him out for like conventions and special events, and in this case, like I said, cast member thing, you know, where they can trust the people aren't going to just grab parts of them and break them or hurt themselves. That's my guess, but who knows with Disney? I don't know what they're thinking, but I thought that was a really cool thing, though, that he said.
That is cool.
A couple of Wall-E things there. So, yeah, that's about it for the Parks Week.
All right. Well, you actually got some good park days and good park moments. You actually got to ride rides. Imagine that, going to a park and riding rides. So, and you know, kind of going around doing some stores and all that. It sounded like an enjoyable week for the parks. So, all right, we're going to now talk about our topic, which is what attractions we feel could stay or go, you know, at Hollywood Studios this week. So, John, you enter the park, and I think, why don't we, because it's pretty close to the entrance of the park, why don't we go down Sunset Boulevard?
Yeah, that'll be an easy one, so might as well.
Yeah, I mean, and again, just to reiterate, as we said last week, we're not advocating anything going away. We're just saying it would be okay if they replaced it with something, or if it went away. I mean, we're not fans of elimination of any attractions, are we, John? I mean, especially with the crowd levels and things like that, I think as many attractions as they can put out there, regardless of whether we think they're lame or cool or whatever, they still eat up some crowds, right? So
yeah,
I think you know, let's talk about Sunset Boulevard and from the perspective of what's currently open, because I mean, you could kind of tail off the Fantasmic, which will be opening up in the summer, I guess, again, but it's not open now. And the Beauty and the Beast show isn't open now either, is it? I believe that's closed.
I thought it was, but how about this? If it is, that's an easy one. I've already seen Beauty and the Beast. I don't care if they changed it or not.
Right. I'm kind of with you. I actually like the show. I know some people think, you know, but if it's going to go, I'm not going to cry about it. I mean, they'll replace it with something newer, fresher, you know, so I'm okay with that. But I mean, the Tower of Terror, let me just say this may seem on the surface as like, oh yeah, it's got to stay and all that. And most people would say that have gone to Walt Disney World, but there's people that really like the Guardians of the Galaxy one out in California that switched. For me, I don't care how great that attraction is. I just don't want to see the Hollywood Tower of Terror. I don't want to see the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. In fact, I don't even want to see them mess with the Twilight Zone theme. I just think it's so perfect. And that ride, the queue, and everything about it, I don't want to see it tweaked at all. Do you, John?
No, I don't. I don't think there's anything that they need to do other than maintain it. And, you can always mess with the random factor.
Right.
Make it a little more random if that's possible, which I'm sure it is. But yeah, it is almost the perfect ride. And it reminds me a little bit about a little bit of my early visits to Disney, where I was not a big Disney fan, as in movies and stuff. And, the parks were overwhelmingly Disney. Mm-hmm. And Tower of Terror was one of those rides that I was like, it connected with me so well. I was like, now I love Twilight Zone. This is so cool. And again, just a brief break away from, the Disney universe. It was just perfect for me. And I still ride that ride, and it can be a little scary still. I don't know why. It just rattles your nerves just a little bit. Like I feel like the glass breaking and dropping, and you put it all together, and it just gives you a little bit of, it rattles your nerves just enough to feel just
right.
I don't know. It again, most rides, even like scary roller coasters, I can just relax on. I'm not concerned at all. But Tower of Terror can still rattle my nerves just enough to make it interesting.
Well, I think there's something unsettling for most people about being out of control in a free fall, and so that kind of borders on that emotion and that feeling and that excitement, so
they get you into that so well though too, like the slow story, the rise up, the watching, it's like they get you in such a state, and they give your eyes plenty of time to adjust, and just I don't know, like I said, it's probably between that and rides like Everest, when it functions fully, almost perfect,
Right. And the great thing about this particular ride, it rarely breaks down. There's very little downtime on that ride compared to some of their other rides. So a great crowd eater and a great queue. I would even encourage people that aren't going to ride the ride. There is a chicken exit. It is an actual real elevator right where the ride. If you don't want to ride the ride, right before the ride boards, you can take the chicken exit, and it's a real elevator, and it'll take you up and on your way. And that'll give you a chance to experience that really awesome queue. And it is great.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I always say that about Space Mountain too.
Yeah,
I love the queues so much. I would recommend anyone, unless you physically can't walk the queue, Yeah. But yeah, so to summarize, Hollywood Tower of Terror, I would be very upset. Got rid of that.
Me too.
I think everyone in my family would be upset. Almost. Based on my reactions on Instagram, most everybody would be very upset. And my daughter did ride Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout in Disneyland, and she said it was great, but she still doesn't want it to change to that. So
yeah, there's some traditionalists out there that even would prefer this ride to the Guardians. I mean, most of them love that ride, and they'll say things like, well, if it had to change, at least it change into this great ride. But, I mean, a lot of them, there's people that I hear every once in a while that say that. All right, let's go to Rock and Roller Coaster. I'm kind of mixed on this because, in a way, the Aerosmith theme is maybe a little dated, but the coaster itself, I think, has to stay. I don't even necessarily want to see the Aerosmith stuff go away because, I kind of dig the theming there. But if they change the theming up a little bit to something a little more modern, I wouldn't cry about it. But the ride has got to stay. I love the music on the ride itself, But what do you think, John?
I've never really been attached to this ride. I don't know why exactly. I think because it's such an intense coaster that it kind of, when I first started going to Disney, my local park was Dorney Park, and in the Lehigh Valley, Allentown, Pennsylvania, and it reminded me of that. The feeling I got when I got off it, meaning it would make me feel a little dizzy, a little off in the head, and this and that. And so, Disney to me was this new kind of ride where it wasn't like that, and the dark rides, and the just, I was so into that, when my daughter was younger, I would volunteer and say, oh, I'll stay off with her. I don't need that. So in that way, it's never been a favorite of mine. It is a great ride. I don't care if they change the Aerosmith thing. And for me, I wouldn't care if they changed it, but indoor roller coasters are too awesome to just get rid of the whole thing. It's you could change it. This is one I wouldn't even care if they made it Marvel something or other. Go ahead, that'd be. I would not be upset at all. But at the same time, I like the ride. Like, there's nothing more iconic than that countdown before the blast and this, and you know what I mean? It's quite memorable. But for whatever reason, I don't have a huge attachment to it.
Yeah, I think it would be a really great candidate for a Marvel ride, to be honest with you. I think in France they might have made it into a Marvel ride, their version of it. Yeah, so. Oh,
and at the same time, I'm not even a big Marvel fan. So.
Yeah, I am.
You are. That's what I mean. But I wouldn't be upset about that. I'd be like, awesome. I bet they'll do a good job.
Yeah, you'd have to be careful with the IP because of the Universal thing and all that. So they would have to pick like some IP that wouldn't be related to the stuff that you see over at Universal. So it might be interesting.
But and don't forget, and you might have, there is another ride back there.
I didn't forget.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
I was going to cover that. You know what? I personally, I was just gonna be like, honestly, I mean, my kids are not. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the map right now. It's a 15-minute wait for that thing, which means it's a walk-on. It's not really 15 minutes. It's like,
this means whatever the current show's done, you can go in and see the next show.
I think it's just something they shoved in there because they had extra space for some reason. I don't necessarily want to see them eliminate it, but maybe if you could do something like, you could almost create like something. If let's say you did do that with the coaster, did a Marvel theme, you could create some kind of mini Marvel land back there. Let's face it, and without doing a lot, because they have that show building there, and you could actually do something cool back there.
Yeah, so. I definitely think it could be something more interesting. And again, I don't dislike cars or anything, but it's definitely for kids, not something adults really want to go back and watch. And I would actually like them to change it to something a little more for everybody. But if they don't, I just don't go back there. I often forget it's there at all.
I'm kind of with you. I do the same thing. So, all right, let's go back to Hollywood Boulevard and go up to the Chinese Theater and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. What do you think there, John? That can get kind of complicated for us, can't it?
Well, yeah, since this is, we don't mind if they, basically an announcement comes out, it's closing for the next 2 years, to remake it as something else in that format, I don't mind at all. And I always prefer something to nothing, but I have no attachment to the ride as it stands right now. It's nice. I can't imagine ever waiting long for it. And so, I don't know. I guess that's just where I'm at with it. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed on it. I mean, my problem is the fact that it's down all the time. It's one of these ones that's constantly like down because of it being a, the trackless ride and being all software driven. I don't know. I like the ride. I really do. It's cute. I don't necessarily at this point want to see them shut that space down because of the crowd flows and things like that. But honestly, if they said to me that they were going to replace it with something that wouldn't be down as often, I'd probably be okay with that. I'm not going to get, upset about it, but it's not going to go away. Let's face it. It's like they're very proud of their achievement there, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, it's true. But again, I don't care less of what they do with it. For the things we don't mind, that's definitely on that list. I don't mind if they change it.
Yeah, I mean, from there, I'd say if we go into the animation courtyard, there's not really much going on there right now, is there? I mean, as
it stands right now, we can make that an easy one. It's pretty much dead. So anything they do in there, thank goodness.
You
have to,
right. Do something. From there, if we go to Walt Disney Presents, which it remarkably it shows up on the map for a Sully Meet Sully at Walt Disney Presents meet and greet. I actually like the fact that they put a little meet and greet in there because it brings attention to Walt Disney Presents. I like that. Walt Disney Presents. I don't want to see them get rid of that. That's one of the few things we have left of Walt in the parks, right?
I don't know. I heard that guy. I heard bad things about that guy. I think we should probably make him disappear. Would be best.
To cancel that guy.
Yeah. Yes. No, I like that. But again, if they were to get rid of it, I guess it would depend what they changed it to. But I would be sad to see Walt completely erased. Although they've done it for most of the other parks at this point. So they slowly but surely cut him out a piece at a time. I don't know. Now that you mention that, that's probably on the list of things to get rid of.
Yeah, probably.
But I love now. The one thing that I do love is the movie when it's Walt Disney Presents at the end, where they just have the story of Walt Disney. Like that's really cool. Yeah. I always enjoy stopping to see that. But I have to say though, for the sake of this podcast, I would not be overly upset if they were going to change this to something else or surprised. I don't want them to.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be like, oh no, it's not Tower of Terror level.
Yeah, upset. You're right. You're right. It's like lower on the scale, but. Well, from there, let's go back to Toy Story Land and go to Toy Story Mania. What do you think there, John?
I would not be upset if they changed it, but it's a decent ride, though. So I'd be okay with that. I like it. My fingers tend to be numb by the time I get off, trying to score high, and so it's physically uncomfortable and hurts my hand. But it's a cute ride. It's well done. I love the queue is great. So again, I don't have any strong attachment to it. And I think that's going to be the theme for me for Hollywood, because most of the rides I didn't want them to change. They already did. So at this point, I don't have the same level of attachment. That's why I like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It's like,
Yeah, I get you. For this one, when this ride originally opened and the entrance was on the other side of the attraction, it soft opened before the official opening, and I just happened to be in the park that day that it soft opened, and they started letting, and imagine that, John, they used to do that type of thing where they do a soft opening instead of all the type of planned out stuff.
Were you with?
I was with an influencer who was like maybe 5 or 6 years old at the time.
They actually wanted to make kids happy and not weird social media people.
So I actually got into this ride before it officially opened, and it was like a 15-20 minute wait for us. We walked in, we rode it. It was so fun, and just for us, and just that experience, the fact that I got to experience that with my daughter, really makes this a memorable ride and memorable attraction. We've had a lot of good competitions on this ride between my family and I, so I really like this ride. I would be upset to see it go. I would be upset to see it change just because of the competitive nature and of the ride and how my family just loves to compete against each other, the memories and the experience, those types of things.
Well, you're just wrong about it.
Yeah. From there, let's move on to the Slinky Dog Dash roller coaster. I don't know, John. I really love this ride a lot. I think it's just about as perfect a family coaster as you could get. I don't really know that there's any way you could change it given the way the ride was designed, given all the features, the way the cars are designed. I suppose you could take the skins off and just make it a regular roller coaster, but I just think this thing is so fun. I really love this ride. It's a ride that right now there's an 80-minute wait. I would wait in that line to ride it.
Yep, I agree with you. It's definitely a keeper. And unfortunately, I would rather them not re-theme it because part of what makes it fun is the colors, the theme.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not even a big Toy Story fan, but I had a daughter and she was young at that time, so I know all the characters, and
yeah,
it's a really well done ride. And like you said, it was a surprise for me. I thought it was going to be a terrible off the shelf coaster with minimal theming just to do something cheap, and it looks that way kind of, but it really works. So
yeah,
Disney did a great job with that one. And yeah, I would be upset if they got rid of that because the younger kids think that's just the greatest. That's like the perfect graduating coaster. It's like after Barnstormer, that's much better than that.
Next step.
And then from there, they're going to Big Thunder.
Yeah.
It's a very important part of the evolution of coasters for the kids.
Yeah, I agree. And the nostalgia too, and the queue line with some of those old toys and things like that. I love that. I just think they did a great job all around with that ride. It was a pleasant surprise for me as well. That's a good way to put it. From there, we're going to alien flying swirling saucers. I'm sorry. I don't care, John. They can do whatever.
Yeah, I don't care either. I think I've ridden it once or twice, and I remember thinking this wasn't designed for fun for the whole family. If you're not an infant, you're probably not going to enjoy it much. So
yeah, I mean, I like the fact that there's a ride there, and it's kind of like it's I guess different from a Dumbo style ride, which they have 20 million of them already at Disney parks. So the fact that it's a little different in that regard, but I mean, let's face it, it's like an automated teacups without the constant spinning, and I'm okay with that. I mean, it's fun for kids and all that, but for a 25-minute wait, I don't think that's too bad, which is where it's at right now. But I just think if they themed that, if they did something else with it, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I could knock that down and put up something. So
from there, we'll venture into Galaxy's Edge, and Galaxy's Edge, of course, is an attraction in and of itself. But I mean, I would say, I'm mixed on Galaxy's Edge as a whole, John, because it hasn't been there long enough for me to have any kind of nostalgic attraction to it. I am a big lover of Star Wars, but not a big lover of the current Disney Star Wars. So my nostalgia would be stronger if they had original characters and if the land itself was weaved into an original character story. It isn't. It is weaved into the current crop. I mean, people that love that, I mean, great. If you can capture the what I did as a kid in Star Wars, which I doubt you can because it was so new and the way it was, great. And if you love it because of the new movies, great. I personally, they could do something else there, and if it was cooler, I'd be okay with that. And I'm talking about the whole land. I mean, we'll cover the attractions then too individually, but
yeah, I'm not attached to the land. That's not even they spent like a couple $1 billion or something on that. I don't think it's going anywhere. So
Yeah, I like it. I mean, don't get me wrong, as a Star Wars fan, it's Star Wars, but
I rarely even stop anywhere near it. Like, I did like that Ronto Raptor. That was
yeah,
pretty
it's
good.
good.
So I might have to get another one of them, but most of the time it's crowded and unpleasant and doesn't remind me anything of Star Wars that I remember. And so I'm like, that's fine. I don't hate it, but I also don't go there that much. It's too crowded and there's nothing that attracts me there. The rides I could summarize easy. Smuggler's Run, I don't care if they change it. If it's another Star Wars ride, definitely any other Star Wars ride, like I'd be willing to try whatever the next one is. Like maybe they would do the dark ride they were supposed to do or something. I think that would be a great idea. I don't think they ever would, but Rise of the Resistance, when it works, is awesome. I can't complain about that at all. And I would not want them to take that away. They did a great job with it, and that is like the next level ride type thing. So
my thing is though, John, everyone says Smuggler's Run, or I mean, and I agree with your Smuggler's Run take. I do love the queue and I love the pre-show and I love the Falcon part of it, everything about that. But the ride itself, I'm kind of like the rideability factor for that ride is kind of low. Re-rideability, let me put it to you that way. It's the same thing every time. So if it was more like Star Tours, which we will get to later, I would be okay with that, like saying, yeah, it's got to stay, but it's not. It's the same thing over and over again. So the re-rideability, outside of the nostalgia factor of walking through the Falcon, of maybe the coolness of the queue line, which I do think is really awesome. I really, it could stay or go. As far as Rise of the Resistance, my thing is this, John. Everyone says, "Oh, greatest new level attraction, greatest ride in the world," blah 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 blah. Well, that's well and good. The problem is there's such a high barrier of entry to that ride, whether it's long lines, whether it's because of Genie and Genie Plus, or whether the ride is constantly broken down, which it is. That doesn't spell like greatest attraction ever in my mind. I mean, the lines for one thing you could deal with, but the fact that it's broken down so often, that thing goes down 2 or 3 times every single day. And to me, that doesn't rise to the occasion of best ride in the world. That also complicates the line situation because it creates a longer backup of lines and things like that, all kinds of logistical issues there. So if the ride rode consistently and smoothly, I would say yes, it has to stay. But at this point, just give me a damn ride that works, pardon my French. And if the ride worked every time and was consistent, I'd say it has to stay. And in my opinion, right now, if they took that ride out and replaced it with something cool that actually worked, I'd be okay with that.
I would be okay too if it's something at the same level of complexity and stuff. But I said, I think I qualified and said when it works. Mm-hmm. It's you can't get much better of a ride when it works and all things. And I've ridden it already a couple times where it just worked perfect. And I remember thinking, wow, there's a lot going on in that ride, and it was awesome. So
you're right. You saying the level of complexity, that's a great way to put it. The queue to that line is superb. It's just for a geek, for a Star Wars geek, it's awesome. Let's leave Galaxy's Edge and go to Muppet Vision 3D and the Muppet out there in the Muppet Courtyard. I don't want them to touch this. I don't want them to do anything.
That's an easy one. I love that ride, and I hope they never touch it, and I'd be very upset if they did. So
I agree.
Not that they care what I think, and they probably will get rid of it eventually, but
I totally
it is a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it.
Agreed. And it stands the test of time, in my opinion. So I want them to keep that. All right, let's go to Star Tours again. Another one. I love Star Tours. You talk about a ride that changes every time you ride it. The queue is always going to be the same, which I love the queue. Everything about it, the outside, the inside.
Haven't they updated it though?
They have.
I remember those commercials that they have on that big screen right now are so well done, and I know that was not always there. And I feel like they might even add to that over time. Like they're like advertising different worlds in Star Wars and this and that, and it's just so well done. And you know, at least when it came to the 2.0 version, that's probably when they added that. But
they have tweaked. You're right. They've tweaked the that part of it. Definitely something that the queue gets updates, but the spirit of the queue is still the same, like the droids and all that. Yeah, and it's like a travel agency thing, and you're loading up to take a trip. I like that a lot. I'd be very upset if they change this. I think it should stay. If they wanted to move the ride somehow to Galaxy's Edge, I'd be okay, but they would have to change the front of the queue if they did that, and I wouldn't be good with that. Maybe if they, instead of an AT-AT, they put the First Order's version, whatever that would be. I don't know.
You know what I was thinking though? You know how long like the queue line actually is for like, I think Soarin' and Space Mountain? It's like they make you walk so far. Imagine if they did like I don't know how they could do it, but somehow make the queue for that where you walk under the Muppets area, like have the entry in Galaxy's Edge, but have some kind of weird covered area. Like that could make the journey almost as fun as the ride if they theme that out well and stuff, you know.
Do you know what they could do? They could make it like an airport, you know, since you're traveling and you're in a
moving
hangar.
Walkway in the airport.
That'd be cool, right? Man, that'd be great.
And that'll give you a lot of space to play with virtual windows, to play with advertisements and signs and things going on and things to hear and do. Yeah. Like I just think that the walkway to Star Tours might be the newest attraction that they didn't even mean to be an attraction. You know?
That's be my great. Thought. Love it. I love that idea. Okay, so we're both kind of in that same camp, though, that Star Tours has to stay. From there, I guess we could probably go to the Indiana Jones attraction, the show. I don't know. It's been the same thing for years with, you know, some tweaks here and there. I did miss it when it went away, but if they changed it, if they updated it, if they did something else, I'd be probably okay with that. I'd miss it, but it's not something that it's not like Star Tours where I'd be very upset if it was gone.
Yeah, we disagree on this one a little bit then too. Yeah. I don't care at all.
Yeah.
I won't even miss it. Like, not at all. I have not gone to it again once once it reopened, and you know, I would walk in to see it, but I'm not going to wait to see it. And my memories of it was sitting in a hot, sweaty theater.
Yeah.
Sometimes with people kicking the back of my chair, waiting for things to start as they talk about like I need a volunteer and in 10 more minutes. And I'm like, oh, God. And then also before the shutdown, I remember, I think I saw it at some point, and the Boulder effect was not working, and I'm like, well, that's the best one on here. No, that was terrible too. So I just didn't have a lot of good luck with it. Like my wife had already been chosen as one of the extras. I think that was pretty cool, but again, overall my experience with it has just not been, it's not bad, but I don't know, I have nothing attaching me to it. So yeah, change that to something else, I would not care at all.
So I mean, you're good with, you would be okay with the Moana water stunt show being put in there.
The Moana Frozen Don't talk about Bruno sing along.
You would be good with that, and
I
would
probably
be
would never see it, but I don't care. Go ahead.
I'd kind of be like, I wouldn't cry about it. I'd probably go see that just because I got little kids.
And then you'd be telling me how surprisingly good it is. And
that's right. I would tell you that, and
Well, but it's nice that we don't agree with everything. So.
And that's it. You're okay with it going. I'm kind of in the middle. There's some nostalgia there. I love Indiana Jones. I know you do too, but I mean, it's just the show itself is the same, and like you said, it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. I'm kind of like I said, I'm in the middle. Let's go to the Frozen sing-along. What do you think of that, John? I think that's a great show, personally, especially for kids. You'll be.
Oh wait, no. What show is this? Oh yeah, there is a show there. You're right. I did see it once.
I personally like taking my kids there and going in that theater. I think they do a great job in there. I wouldn't be upset about it going, but I do think it's a great show. If they replaced it with another great show, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I have no thoughts on it. Don't.
I mean, maybe they could put an Indiana Jones show inside that building.
Well, you know what my problem is? My daughter was probably like a tween maybe, but when Frozen came out, and she liked Frozen. She thought it was great. But she was also old enough to realize that Disney was pushing it on us every single turn, and we all kind of got Frozen PTSD after a while. and at this time we were vacationing at the parks 2 to 3 times a year, and when we were going at that time, we were like, I know, let it go, yes, I know. And they just, every shirt, everything, they just put it everywhere they could possibly think of. And like I said, I would always be annoyed by that, but my daughter was actually old enough to be like, what in the heck are they doing with the Frozen stuff? They won't stop. So even she was getting to the point of, I've had enough Frozen. And so I don't give it as fair a chance as I should. I can say when I ride the Frozen ride or when I hear the song, it is so good. And I won't deny that for a second. Whoever wrote those songs and the performances of them, and man, they really reach right in and grab you. They do. They are awesome. Yeah. But again, overall, though, I'm just not a big fan of Frozen. Like, I just don't. Like, Frozen 2, I heard it was so good. I haven't seen it. And I honestly probably never will, because it's not my kind of... I went and saw The Northman. I enjoyed that movie. It's about as far from Frozen as you'll ever get. I like weird movies. I like dark movies. I like sci-fi movies. I like horror movies. Children's cartoon movies. I don't have any children in that age group right now. If I have grandchildren someday, I may change my mind, and then we can start talking about how cool Frozen 2 is again, because I watched it with my grandkids because I was babysitting, But until then, I don't know that I'll ever get time to. Well, if I had Disney Plus, which I don't, maybe I could put that on while I'm working and just kind of barely pay attention. That wouldn't be
Turn
that
it
bad.
in the background. Well, if you have grandkids someday, you guys still wouldn't be talking about Bruno. Let's face it,
I don't. And just as a reminder to everybody, I love Disney parks.
Yeah.
I've never been a big Disney fan. I don't hate Disney. My daughter, the first movie she ever watched actually was Monsters, Inc. And, so that has a special place in my heart and stuff. Like I love some Disney movies and some Disney stuff, but I've never been I watch Disney Channel all day and I love everything Disney.
I never have either.
Not really. I always found those shows to be a little too soft for my liking now.
Yeah, I was never a fan of the Disney Channel stuff, but that's it for the attractions. There's a few character meet and greets, but I'm not really going to count that. They can do whatever with that anytime. But let's add one more thing here at the end. What is one restaurant that you would be upset? Just one that you would be upset if they took out?
That's too easy.
I know. We're going to agree on that one.
Sci-fi dining, obviously.
Yeah. Yep, that's it. I just
Although
wanted to get that in there because I knew
50s prime time is really cool and unique though too. But
right.
I
That's
do
okay.
love that one. I don't eat there that often, but when I did, it was.
Well,
but
I would even add
Sci-Fi's the one that if they get rid of that, that's like, and they probably will, because I posted a video of Sci-Fi, and it got censored because of, I don't know, because of the violence. A monster was carrying some lady away who was laughing and kicking because they weren't that great actors back then. But they, I don't think, the Disney's brain and censors on social media are quite similar. So somebody at Disney might say, "Ooh, this is getting problematic. This is violence towards women." Creature from the lagoon came out and took her away. That's violence. You know what I mean?
I do.
As Disney gets more and more removed from reality in this weird way of thinking, they might say they got to get rid of this thing. Problematic, because that scared me when Instagram or TikTok or somebody literally knocked it right out. It was just, they wouldn't allow it. And I'm like, holy moly, this is like this is all in fun. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, that scares me a bit. I don't like to think about it too much.
And let me just say, in my case, as a candidate, Backlot Express also, along with the 50s primetime, snuck in there because I really like all of those.
I like it too, but I don't think that's gonna stay. But hey, we could do a podcast of restaurants we would be upset.
That's a good.
But with that one, we'd probably just do all.
We just cover all the parks.
The entire Disney World at one time.
Maybe that's what we'll wrap this one up with then.
I like that idea. See, I'm trying to think of podcasts that I haven't heard before.
Right, and that's great. I think that's a great idea. All right, John, that'll do it for our discussion. And you just were talking about Instagram and social media, so why don't we go right into that? How did your social media go for the week?
Start with CUO, my Universal. I am rapidly decreasing. Right now, I reached 1.8 million accounts in the last 30 days. But I don't know if you can see this or not, but you could see the trend. It's going back down again.
Wow, I see that, yeah.
That is getting rapidly reduced. And again, it's fine. These things tend to happen. So, and my bonus is at $118, and it's probably won't get much higher than that because that's the way they are now. While I'm on that, let's see. Yeah, there really isn't any big ones to talk about. Like out of the past couple of weeks, see when this was taken. I'm trying to see if I can't decipher a timeline here of when everything was dialed back again. And let's see. I think it was about 1 to 2 weeks ago. But anyway, the last bigger one that I had was Jurassic River Adventure, just the crash down there. I don't know exactly when that was taken, because there it is. Yeah, sometimes this program drives me nuts. Oh, April 29th. So it's been a little while, but that one got like 50,000 views. Since then, I only broke 10,000 a couple times, so it's mostly, got pushed down greatly. And I had some pretty good ones, I think, that, a couple of weeks ago would have done big numbers. But again, all that stuff's not decided by me. Now, the positive note on that, too, is I'm up to 28,300 followers. That's pretty good. Although the growth has stopped dramatically, too. It was growing quite fast. And, it's going slower and slower and slower. And the same with SeeWDW. I'm at 64,900 followers. But my follower number is going down and down and down. And hopefully it doesn't continue that, because sometimes that leads to shrinking, to losing followers overall. So, but it is going in that direction again. Let's see. Here's the shocking thing. The last 30 days, I reached 980,000 people on SeeWDW. Now this account has more than double the followers, and I have less than half the reach right now. And again, ever since I asked the question of is this bonus a mistake, I never recovered. I just haven't been able to get anything good on there. So
you think it's like almost like a shadow ban or something? Maybe they shadow banned you.
I don't think Instagram, if you look at the employees at these companies, they are not the best of people, and they all tend to get this self-righteous weirdness about them that,
Yeah.
And again, it may just be a coincidence, but as soon as I asked, I had the reach pulled out from under me in a big way as soon as I asked, because that 2 million wasn't a sudden. I was up to 2 million in 30 days. It took me a while to get to that. I had to work up and slowly build it, and then it just went boom. Now nothing ever hits. Man, I have an awful lot of reels that don't even reach 10,000 now, which that never happened before. And here's how you know, too, about what these algorithms are thinking of. For Spaceship Earth Sunday, I think this was last week, I have the American flag, and see this one?
Yeah.
I have the America song from the American Pavilion.
Yeah.
So it's singing the praises of America while showing the flag, and then I have, it's the flag blowing with Spaceship Earth behind it, pans down to the Epcot sign with the flowers, and then riding the monorail past the flag at sunset. Just a beautiful video. It's got 8,800 views, 724 likes, and I can honestly say that Facebook or Instagram probably takes the American flag as a bad thing. Like literally, I could have sworn that I've heard and seen things before that it's considered problematic, represents racism. Oh, there's such nonsense. So I would not be surprised at all if you're not going to get too far with an American flag flying around. And again, and then a song singing about it. That's my worst performing reel that I've had. And I don't know how long. I'm paging down a long, long time. Even my walk past the Epcot mural at the new restaurant there did better. And I thought that one was bad, but this one did even worse. And again, out of my 64,000 followers, you really think nobody would like that? They don't like Epcot. They don't like driving past. They've never seen the American Adventure, so they don't recognize that song. It's like, I don't think so. I would be willing to bet that the algorithms at Instagram do not like. And to test it, I did another one too, which isn't singing about America, and it did a lot better, but just riding by, it was like just part of another one. Anyway, at this point with my bonuses this low, I kind of knew going in that posting an American flag and putting a pro-American song on there may not work out well for me. But with my bonuses where they are and my reach heading in the direction it is, I'm more the F you kind of guy. Like, how about this? You like it? It's like, so.
Yep, totally get it.
And yeah, even things like, what was it? Like my Splash Mountain videos would do so well. Like, man, they would get like 500,000 views easy, just consistently. This last one from last week, 14,000 views. And I'm like, huh. And you could see that, like in the first couple of minutes, it goes up a couple thousand and then just stops dead. And I'm like, oh, AI noticed they don't like this one, or they decided it's not traveling any further. And that's what's been happening a lot with them. Like, I did one last night that like shot up. It was the Johnny Depp one. It shot up to like 8,000 and then just stopped dead. And I was like, oh, no more. No one else is seeing it. Like, it just stops. It's like, and Instagram actually sent me a survey this morning, or no, last night. And they were like, do you trust Instagram and this and that? And I was like, not really. And they had some sections about input, and I said, could you please just let my own followers see my stuff? I'm like, it's so, I said, I said, you don't show me the people I follow. I don't see their stuff. And they're not, and the people who follow me aren't seeing my stuff. It's getting to be weird that why are we even following anybody? You're deciding what I see almost exclusively. Like, it's just getting weird, you know? And I didn't say it just like that, but I did let it be known that you can see what they're doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a similar thing to for all you people who think I'm crazy, it's similar to what they did at YouTube. At a certain point, YouTube you made it. Eventually, they just push you towards large, famous, or corporate accounts, and that's it. And they abandon all the small people. And doesn't matter who you subscribe to or what. The next video you see is not going to be someone you actually subscribe to. Even if they have a new video, it's going to be who they want you to see.
Mm-hmm.
And they apply pressure like that. And I feel like that's what Instagram's doing now. They really want me to just follow blonde girls in front of castle. That's all they want me to see. Look at it. Follow it. Here's the biggest accounts. Follow them.
That's exactly, yeah.
I'm like, bro, I don't follow them because I don't want to. I've seen it the last 800 times you pushed it at me. And again, I have a feeling that everyone who does follow me is simply getting the bigger accounts pushed in front of them over and over. And just, there's certain videos that I put up that I can't imagine any Disney fan would not like. And the other thing is, with the reels, if it comes up in front of you and it's a short reel, it counts as a view. It just has to roll by your feed. If you so much as slow down, if it's like a 4-second video, you just watched it. That's a view. I'm not, I'm getting 8,000 views after like a week's time. That means it's not even showing up on the threads, you know, it's just not. So again, my people who follow me don't even see my stuff. And for whatever reason that is, I don't know. Anyway, sorry for the rant. But I just thought it'd be interesting for people who try to do social media. For everybody trying, you know, I don't know what. I hate to be negative, but I don't know that it really matters in the long run because I have almost 65,000 followers. I can't get anybody to see my stuff, so I don't think it really. I could have 65 billion followers and somehow I'd still get 1,000 likes on a picture, and that's it because Instagram decided that's what I'm going to get and who's going to see it, regardless of followers. And again, these aren't fake accounts. I didn't buy followers anywhere which don't actually do anything. It's like these are real accounts that took me years to accumulate, and I don't think people are seeing it. So
yeah, and you put a lot into creating your content too, and that it kind of it hurts in a way whenever they're directing everyone in that big funnel. I mean, you hit it right on with YouTube. YouTube does do the for example, if you subscribe to somebody on YouTube, the larger accounts are the ones that you're going to see first come up on your feed. They're going to be the first ones they prioritize, the people with more followers and more subscribers. That they don't give you an option to prioritize anybody yourself. For example, if I wanted to prioritize I don't know, like the Disney duo, who is a content creator, a smaller content creator, over, say, Tim Tracker, there's no way for me to do that. They will prioritize Tim Tracker every day, all day long, over the Disney duo. That's just how they do things, and that's, I think, ultimately what's happening to you.
Well, yeah, and on a larger scale, I can say I watch small independent like news channels and stuff, like people who are not owned by anybody, and every single time it's over, it is going to send you to CNN, Fox News, one of the big companies who I do not subscribe to any of them. It's going to send me right to them every time. So I watch a video, I'm working, I'm not really paying attention. Before I know it, people I don't subscribe to are talking to me while I have countless subscriptions that are pushed all the way in the back that I need to actively push to search to find what to watch with them. Yeah. And it's always the same big companies that are getting priority and getting pushed. So, like I said, I can't tell you how many videos I've seen of people I don't subscribe to, and then I still don't. After it comes on, I'm like, I still don't want to subscribe to it, but they're going to keep coming over and over. And again, that's them with time controlling things. It takes them a while, but they get what they want eventually.
Yeah. So, all right, John, is that it for your social media for the week?
TikTok there has been not even a remotely hit in a long time.
Yeah.
And my numbers it keeps going 52,200 to 100 to 200 to 100. So I'm losing followers on there too, and then gaining a few back and then losing some. And
yeah, I think that's true for a lot of people that are doing TikTok right now.
But again, I don't really. I never thought I am a good fit for TikTok anyway, so I don't really care. But like I said, social media has been disappointing all around lately. Doesn't mean I stopped trying, though. I just keep trying, and people that actually listen week to week will hear things are going great, things are going okay, things are going terrible, things are going great, it's up and down. So I'm hoping, in the next few weeks that one of my accounts hits again and starts either growing in viewership or followers would be nice.
Yeah. Well,
that's all I can do is try.
Well, let's try and get you some more subscribers. Where can they find you online, John?
You can find me at SeeWDW on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, SeeWDW on YouTube, and C.UO on Instagram.
All right, very good. And for me, you can find me at The Giant Rat, THEE Giant Rat on Twitter. Yes, I'm back on Twitter now, on Instagram, and on TikTok. All right,
we recommend you go to Tim Tracker.
That's right.
Why bother with The Giant Rat when you can go to something bigger and better?
That's right. You go look me up, they'll probably direct you right to Tim Tracker anyway. And not that he has bad content. He's a good content.
Oh no, he's awesome. But different though. Like that's not what you're looking for.
Right. All right. We'll see you on the next one. That should do it for this